Hey, it's the basement. Hello, I'm so thrilled that you're here. Glad that you're joining me. This is my basement. You are really here with me, at least virtually. It's me, it's the Ultimate Warrior, and it's a great show today. Have you seen what's going on in the Buffalo Bills quarterback room? Hijinks, chemistry, bets. Josh Allen slide. If you do it, something will happen. If you don't, there's this whole crazy story about this. We're going to get into this as part of what's hilarious today. Also, we're going to talk about some Cowboys. Yes. We're going to talk about the NFC South, my favorite, least favorite division. It's incredible what's going on there. And we have a bite fight. Ring the fight bell, da-ding, 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 against a couple of losers from this past weekend. And I do mean that literally. All kinds of stuff here in the basement. It's always fun. And it always starts the same way with what I love, what I hate, and what's hilarious. Two games left in the old reg season schedule. I love that the Cowboys are already excited for the playoffs. And they're already looking ahead to the playoffs. And specifically, they're already looking ahead to maybe facing their division rival Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs. Jerry Jones did one of his 26 different radio hits this week and says, I'd love it to play the Philadelphia Eagles again in the playoffs. Dak Prescott, QB1, said it's very confident that it will happen. He's very confident that the Cowboys and the Eagles will meet again for a third matchup in the playoffs. Aren't we getting a little bit excited about what's going to happen when you play the 1 seed in the playoffs, or you go to Philadelphia in even a divisional round game or a title round game? Isn't this just a little bit? Guys, Cowboys, win your next 2 games. Win your next game, and even 1 game. Then win the one after that, and then focus on the wild card. That's where you guys are. As a team, as an organization, you're a wild card team. So look to that, and even short of that, look to Thursday night against a bizarre, dead, zombie Titans team. The Eagles are not your thing right now. Why are we even hearing the word Eagles come out of your mouth? It's just, it boils down to Dallas. You really think you're going to get there? People think that I am a provocateur Cowboys hater. It's not that at all. I have nothing against the Cowboys on principle. My 9-year-old son has a Dak Prescott jersey. He wears it all the time. I grew up wearing an Emmitt Smith jersey. I like the Cowboys. What I don't like is undue hype on the Cowboys. Undue special attention because they are the Cowboys. I like fairness. I like to distribute attention and airtime to teams that really deserve it. Now, I'm talking about the Cowboys to open the show because they're good. Because they're one of the playoff teams. They're going to the playoffs. But I wasn't doing it just because back in September. It bothers me. Here's what bothers me. Because we have the owner and the quarterback openly getting excited about maybe seeing the Eagles in the playoffs next year. We have a quarterback who's 1-3 in the playoffs for his career. He's won 1 playoff game ever. He's lost the other 3. We have an organization since their last Super Bowl, which was when I was in high school, is 4-11 in the playoffs since then. This is not a playoff winning program, franchise, company, team. This is not. Year after year, the Jerry Jones product does not win playoff games, let alone Super Bowls. Year after year, the Dak Jones Cowboys do not win playoff games and don't sniff Super Bowls. That's not me hating. That's me just going by the facts. Just because you point out that the team loses doesn't mean you don't like them. If the Cowboys were to get to a title game, I would be excited. I'd feel nostalgic. It really happened. How about them Cowboys? If they were to win a Super Bowl, that'd be a really cool thing for the league, for good guys like Dak Prescott and many other guys on that team who I like and celebrate. And it'd be a hell of a story for Jerry Jones and a hell of a story for Mike McCarthy. That's a really cool thing. I wouldn't boo and hiss. There's people in the industry who do that, and they either love the Cowboys or hate them, and it rates, apparently, so I'm told, and that's fine. That's their thing. It's not mine. I just laugh, and I say, guys, Dallas, I don't even want to hear Philadelphia is a 1 seed. You just beat them when it came down to the last play of the game with their backup quarterback on your home field. Great. You definitely beat them. Don't take that away from you. The idea that you're going to see them in the playoffs is not a December, whatever the hell date it is, conversation. It is not a December 28th conversation. Beat the Titans. Win in week 18. Win the wild card. Win the divisional. These are things you don't typically do. It's very funny to me that we're already hearing Dallas is ready for Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is getting ready for San Francisco. Dallas is ready for Philadelphia. Dallas, are you ready for whoever the hell the NFC turns out? Are you ready for the Packers or the Lions or the Commanders in your own division? Are you ready for whatever bizarre creation comes out of the South? Are you ready for any of those teams? Because those are the teams you have to think about. Even if you want to look past these next 2 weeks, fine, regular season, you're going to the playoffs. If you really want to do that, keep Philadelphia out of your mouth. I don't care if you just beat their backup quarterback. They're going as the 1 seed. It's happening. I don't think for a second they're going to blow that thing. Focus on the now, and then we'll get to dealing with what's happened since 1995, which is actually winning some playoff games of real substance. I think I love it, though. I love that the Cowboys are already feeling themselves because it leads to disaster. I don't root for it, but I certainly watch it. Let's get, though, to what I hate. Come on now. I hate that I love the NFC South. Is it sort of square to talk about a division as an entity and break them down and say you love this division? I don't care. There are 4 teams in this division. Bucks, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. Falcons, they tell me, are eliminated, although I still don't believe it. I still think they can figure out a way. That means there's 3 teams, all under 500. They've all had 15 games to played, and none of them can win more than they lose. It doesn't matter which one you talk about. My buddy Jason McCourty, who won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, was at the table today saying, you know, at the end of the game, Tom Brady just finds a way to win. No, he doesn't. They're 7-8. They lose most of their games. He doesn't find a way to win. What do you mean? That's not this team. The numbers are right there. It's 7-8, and yet one of them has to make the playoffs, gets to make the playoffs, and I can't stop watching them. We have these amazing divisions. The NFC East is really good, and the NFC North is really interesting right now. I just can't stop looking at those 3 dogs down in the South and being like, what the hell is going to happen here? Especially with the Panthers playing the Bucks this weekend. Oh, my God. I hope that game is a tie, just to really, really mess things up. I hope it is a scoreless tie. You know what it is? The NFC South, and this is going to be so slick of me, the NFC South is mayhem. And that is brought to you by Allstate. Switch to Allstate and save and get protected from this year's mayhem. Can you believe how corny and ham-handed that was? It doesn't matter. It's a great product that Allstate offers, and it is mayhem down in the NFC South. You're in good hands in the NFC South. Are you? Are you in good hands with Sam Darnold? Are you in good hands with Andy Dalton? If you're someone who just watches the NFL year after year, and it's usually the same trappings and the same kind of organization, the same kind of teams, aren't you? Are you or aren't you? I'll ask you this. Are you into watching a terrible, hilarious Andy Dalton Saints team host a playoff game in the Superdome? Is that funny to you? It's kind of funny to me. Or are you like, no, that's pathetic and embarrassing, and the NFC South shouldn't have a playoff team? This is why I hate it, and this is why I hate that I love it. It's an interesting topic. If they let's say it goes this way. Let's say the Bucs just can't get their act together, and the Saints don't win. Let's say that the Panthers win the NFC South. Your interim coach, Sam Darnold Panthers, win the NFC South, and as you know, then we'll host a playoff game in the wild card round. Let's say that happens, and let's say they host, I don't know how the numbers are going. Let's say they host the Vikings, and let's just say, well, they wouldn't host the Vikings because the Vikings are going to win the division. Let's say they host the Packers. The Packers get in, and they go to Carolina. Or let's say they host the Commanders or the Cowboys, whoever it is, and they go and they get destroyed. The Panthers lose the game 37-6 and just don't belong in the playoffs and totally stunk it up. And the network is pissed because they carried that game, and the league is pissed because no one watched the game after halftime and it sucked. Could that lead to redoing this whole deal? By this whole deal, I mean enough with just giving a playoff game to the division winner. Why don't we give it to a more appropriate team who at least has a winning record, who has put a much better product from start to finish on the field? Would they ever do that? I think it would take some sort of nuclear event because, as we know, we've seen sub-500 teams sneak in before, including the Marshawn Lynch Beastquake play, and for Seattle, they were sub-500. And so it's like there's this kind of sweet little history of those teams, but what if one of them just got in was terrible and just said, we do not belong here. We didn't win more games than we lost even. We're out of here. We shouldn't even belong here. We just stunk up the NFL and we embarrassed the Shield. Then maybe they will. Then they say, the hell with it. Win your division, I don't care. Playoff games go to the teams who have won more games, who have won the most games, and it's just a full meritocracy. I don't care if it's all our playoff teams. There's 4 from the NFC East and 3 from the NFC North, and those other 2 divisions get nothing. Would you care? I kind of want the best teams. I don't really care that each division is represented. But see, this is why I love this topic. It's all over the place. And the only boring end to it is if the Bucs cough up another win or 2 or whatever they need to do to win the South. And it's like, oh, well, Tom Brady eventually figured it out. That's great. Respect to Brady and everything. But I'm here for the car accident. I want those Andy Dalton, Dennis Allen Saints. I want those Steve Wilkes, Sam Darnold Panthers. Can you imagine if Sam Darnold gets in the NFL playoffs with the Panthers and the Jets do not? That's fun. That's funny to me. See, I kind of hate how gross it is, but I love the car accident factor, so that's where I land out. I hate that I love the NFC South. It's the only games I'm watching this weekend. I hope Bucs Panthers is 0-0 tie, and they just have to figure all that garbage out. But let's get to what's hilarious that comes from the old AFC East division. The Bills quarterback's room's hilarious. Let me take you into it. There's this great piece that came out from The Athletic. So Bills quarterback room, think about this. You got Josh Allen is the QB1, the rock star. You got Case Keenum, savvy old veteran, been on a ton of different teams, done some incredible things in the league, had some rough times in the league. He's the QB2. Matt Barkley is the quarterback 3. USC, glory boy, really nice guy, also been around. So it's the uber megastar that they drafted in the first round, and then these 2 journeymen who have really fun, kind of wacky personalities. Check the piece out. So it seems that at some point, Case Keenum, who's looking out for Josh's best interest, is on Josh a little bit or aware of Josh, has this habit to not slide. It's a popular topic that Josh Allen needs to protect himself. And we've talked to Josh about it a million times. And his attitude is usually like, I know I'm supposed to, but, it's football. And when I can make a play for my team, I either jump over somebody or I truck them. Well, apparently this came through. And Matt Barkley decided to set some sort of kind of like a wager where he said, or rather this was Case Keenum. He said, if you slide during a game to Josh, you're running with the ball, you're past the line of scrimmage, and you slide when no one's around you and just go down safely, I will come to a walkthrough wearing only a jockstrap. So I'll show up to our walkthrough wearing just a jockstrap if you slide in a game, has to be in a game, feet first, nobody around you. So, sure enough, Week 3, this is back, Bills at Dolphins. Remember this one? It was the super, super hot game. The Dolphins ended up winning in the last snap. Josh slides feet first on an 8-yard scramble in the 4th quarter. He's not touched. He gives himself up and slides. Ran forward through a hole in the Dolphins' defense, went left, slid forward before 2 defenders closed in. Keenum says allegedly he may have told him he would do that. So Allen, of course, Josh, kind of goes with one of his lines, asked about it in December this month, said, I can neither confirm nor deny those allegations. Same line he used for us when we tried to get him to tell us which sports movie allegedly based in real facts drives him crazy, and he wouldn't give it up. Said they neither confirm nor deny. So Wednesday, the following Wednesday, they do their installation day where they put the new plays in or go over there in the weight room so they can walk through each play and kind of demonstrate them and get a feel for them. Isaiah McKenzie, their wide receiver, said he was walking into the weight room with Case Keenum in his clothes like normal. And then Case said, I got to go to the bathroom. Tell Ken Dorsey I'll be right there. Case Keenum reappears from the bathroom wearing only a jockstrap. McKenzie, quote, we was all staring at his cheeks. That's a great quote. Jockstrap, meaning you're covered up here. And just like this is like the 1950s gym class thing with this straps that go beneath the buttocks, totally uncovered, like there's some chaps or something. Reggie Gilliam, bare butt cheeks. Quarterbacks coach Joe Brady, exactly how you could picture it. I don't know if you want to picture that. So the best part was that the non-quarterbacks in offense, so every other position other than the quarterbacks, had no idea that this wager had taken place. So they're standing around and Case just walks out. How are we doing, guys? What are we putting in this week? And he's sitting there in his jockstrap, no shirt, no shoes, no pants, no nothing. And they had no idea even why he was doing it. So they were like super weirded out. Mackenzie said, we all know that quarterback room is a little odd. So they do a lot of odd things. That's an incredible, incredible wager. And then it goes in and it says that how they're actually really, really close. And that Josh is very, very close with Matt Barkley and he loves Case. It's like I wish we could fast forward to next week on Kyle Brandt's Basement so we could just ask Josh 15 different questions about the jockstrap, about the hijinks, about what other wagers, what have they done that hasn't been paid off or hasn't been met. And then there's other stuff too. You got to read this piece if you're a Bills fan and just an NFL fan. So the Bills are trying to get Von Miller, trying hard. They wanted to get him. Remember, Von was going to leave the Rams and he was picking a spot. And it was looked at as a kind of a surprise that he went to Buffalo. You go from LA to Western New York. You won a Super Bowl last year. Now, obviously, money had a lot to do with it. But apparently, Josh is on the golf course in Newport Beach, it even says. So he's probably, I used to live 20 minutes from there. He's probably playing like Pelican, as they call it, a super nice place. He's playing golf with Matt Barkley and gets a call from the GM. Bean, our guy, gets a call from the GM and says, can you help and call Von? So then Josh says, I can do that, but I need you to sign Matt Barkley because he didn't know he was going to be on the team. And he's like, all right, let me see what I can do. Best part is, when they finally got to Von, Matt Barkley says Josh also sent Von a text, like a recruiting text. And how does he not tell us this in the basement? We asked all about his Von recruitment. We asked all about it. Josh sends a text to Von Miller, 3 lines. Zach Wilson, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones. You get to play these guys 6 times a year. Have at it. Why would you not want to come? That's pretty awesome. He just said, why do you want to come to Buffalo? Here's the 3 quarterbacks in our division. That's 6 games out of 17 right there. And you can just eat those guys alive. That's hell of a pitch. And guess what? It worked. All the money that Bean threw at him worked too, but I like that pitch. I like that he went right for the throw. Because what are you going to do? You're going to say, listen, it's a great way of life here. We have great wings, great people, great tradition. All that's true. But remember, you got to hit Von with something extra. Von was living in LA. He's doing the McVay thing. They won the Super Bowl. They had a parade. It's you got to talk him out of that. You have to talk him out of that relationship and in with you. So you got to roll up your sleeves a little bit. As much as I love wings and, the Buffalo Sabres, and I do, I don't know if that's getting them exclusively out of LA. Josh goes, you can eat. Look at the 3 quarterbacks in our division. And it's funny because Josh is always really respectful, and I know 2 in particular he really likes. But that's a cutthroat recruiting tactic. I absolutely love it. And you know what? Scoreboard. He came. It worked. He made a bunch of plays. Now he's injured, but he was awesome when he was here. That's a great story. Can you imagine in one piece you go from that recruiting story to Matt Barkley in the story of Case Keenum with his butt cheeks out in the install? Now that's hilarious. That's why we do What's Hilarious. Great article. Thank you from The Athletic. Can't wait till what's going to be 5, 6, 7 days from now till we get Josh in here. He plays Monday night next week. I don't know if we'll get him Tuesday. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely ask him about that. Case Keenum, great work. That really, your Minneapolis Miracle, Stephon Diggs, great throw. Dropping your pants in the Wednesday install for Buffalo, I think even better. That's hilarious. Let's move on. What are we getting? Oh, we're doing Bite Fight? Let's go to Bite Fight. This is always fun. Come on, ring the bell.
Lions, Tigers, and tailgates. Oh my. College football season is always the greatest time of the year. You put on a jersey, get your face painted, break out the foam finger, but it's all about the food. And nothing gets you more fired up for game day than Eckrich smoked sausage. They're naturally hardwood smoked and have the perfect blend of spices. From buffalo sausage dip to sausage chili mac and cheese, Eckrich smoked sausage is a quick way to bring flavor to all your tailgate meals. Visit Eckrich.com for easy, one-of-a-kind sausage recipes. Eckrich, you do you.
All right, here's what we do. We go 3 sound bites. Boom. We play 3 separately from guys around the league, and I'm going to decide 1 bite to rule them all. 3 bites enter. 1 bite leaves, 1 bite wins. Today's are all from gentlemen who lost this past weekend. Up first, let's go. Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs has had a really great year. Been one of the cool stories. And when the Raiders finally got their act together and started to surge around November, and he was like, oh my God, Josh Jacobs is so good. What a workhorse. Well, his team has fallen on hard times and probably not going to make the playoffs. So here he was after Saturday night's loss in last-minute fashion to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Here's what Josh Jacobs had to say. Go ahead, bite number 1.
I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of dealing with this. Like, every day I come here and bust I see the guys, bust and, and the result is not there. And, for me, the last 4 years, the result hasn't been there. And quite frankly, I don't know what else to do. So, yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah, that's brutal. So that was after a game in which Josh is standing on the sideline watching a couple of rookies, Kenny Pickett and George Pickens, go through the snow and the cold in the last minute and throw a touchdown in the end zone. It was a wrap. Very frustrating loss. I always find it interesting too when the Alabama guys like Jacobs come in the league on bad teams, because they're like, what the hell? We're coming from Tuscaloosa and Saban. The only disappointment is we don't win the national title every single year. And to his point, he's come in and he's struggled year after year after year. That Josh Jacobs has been through a lot. That not only the losing, but the team is relocated. The ridiculous Gruden affair that was all racially charged. Henry Ruggs, just a disaster. One of his guys who I can't speak for him, but I imagine he was close. They're both Alabama guys. It's terrible. And then this season is supposed to be promising, and you're playing good ball. You start the year, you're running the ball all over the place in the Hall of Fame game. In the preseason, looks like they're going to trade you, put you on the block. No, you're actually playing really well, and just lost. Derek Carr did a few weeks back, and he was tearing up and crying at the press conference. Just awful. It's an awful year. So that's bite number 1. It's certainly not a fun one, but it's a passionate one. Next up, oh, here we go. You want passion. Dan Campbell, same deal. Lions surging. They can't lose. Then out of nowhere, Carolina just comes in and just punches them in the face over and over and over. And it's not that the Lions lost. They got out-muscled. Dan Campbell, ring the bell. Here he was after this dream run of the Lions came to an end, and they got completely out-muscled by Steve Wilkes, Carolina Panthers. What did the Dan man have to say?
It's up to us to decide what we want to do and how we want to handle this. That's the good news. Look, I'm just going to say this again. It stings. It's awful. But, man, it's the best thing that can happen to us, because I think no matter who you are and whatever you do, some of your best work is when you get your face kicked in. And so, that literally, I don't know everybody gets their face kicked in. But I do know, man, when your back's against the wall and you get trotted on and everything's at its worst, you either just stay down there or you get up and you come back motivated and upset with calculated energy and aggression. And, man, you go. And there's a purpose. And so I think this is the best thing for us.
That's a take. I don't know if it was Socrates or was it Confucius who said, man, some of your best work, man, is when you get your face kicked in. Is it? I know the point that he's making is you got to recover from it. But imagine losing 37-23 to go to 7-8 on the season and coming out and saying, this is the best thing for us. You know what, Dan? I think maybe wrapping up around the line of scrimmage and coming away with a win would have been the best thing for you. But I like the optimism on it. And that's fun. That's a funny clip to me. I lost track of something he said because everything he says is awesome. We've been at this now not only 2 years with Campbell, but 4-5 months this season with Campbell. And every time he comes up, I'm still amused and I'm still inspired. Just like the giant shoulders, the Buffalo Bill voice, the like kill 'em all sound bites, that resonates with me. And I think it resonates with the Lions. Just didn't resonate that day. They got their butts kicked. Or no, they got their face kicked in. Has anyone ever been kicked in the face and be like, yeah, this is the best thing for me. I love it. That's a great one. But 3 bites enter. Not 1, not 2. And the 3rd bite, oh crap. We got up. See, I don't see these before you guys do. These are the heavy hitters. How do you react to Dan Campbell? Oh my God, that's Mike Vrabel's music. What is he doing here? All right, Vrabel. I can't wait to see this. The Titans have not won a game in 41 days, I think is the number. It's before Thanksgiving. They're on a 5-game losing streak. They cannot get a win. And the first 4 were to like really good playoff teams, as if that's an excuse. The last one was to the Texans, who like their whole business plan is not to win, but the Titans still lost to them. So afterwards, the Titans on the outside of the playoff picture looking in, which they almost never are to Vrabel. Here was Big Mike after losing to the 2022 Houston Texans at home. Go ahead, Mike.
Guy making a mistake. You know, I mean, you hear, man, I hate losing. I hate losing too. So maybe we should love preparing and love focusing before the game and doing as much as we possibly can so that we don't make mistakes in critical times or mental errors or things that could be avoided. As far as, you know, I mean, that's part of the job. It's rewarding watching guys succeed. That's why I do this, and watching them develop and improve. But the losses, certainly hurt.
When you say maybe we should love preparing and doing the things before the game, are you saying that you may not have 100% buy-in?
Well, it's not the buy-in. It's just, how much are we doing outside of the time that we're at the facility? I don't know. You know what I mean? Those are questions that, if they just, if you as a professional athlete just work 8 to 4 or 8 to 4:30, and I don't know how much you get out of it. Maybe God gifted you with some really, really cool talents. We just have to, all do a little bit more.
This is the saddest bite fight ever. This is all bite fight sad losing edition, but still a poignant edition. It's just listening to Vrabel and listen to all these guys. These are the dog days, aren't they, man? If you are a football player, even if you're in football media, man, you haven't seen the sun in like 5 months. Everyone's tired, everyone's bored, everyone's irritable, everyone's hurt physically if you're a player, and sore and annoyed. And like, even right now, it's not even January, like the vacation or your time off or a break might be close. There's weeks left to go. And especially these guys losing 5 in a row. Look, I like the Vrabel quote because he speaks with such credibility. I like when he gets into the time frames. If you're an 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. guy, like that's such a specific call out. Even 4:30 he includes in it. That just tells me that Vrabel has a very specific schedule of a day in mind that his athletes and his players should be working, and it should not be 8 to 4. That's punching your time card 9 to 5. That's pretty great, and it's a good call out. I expected maybe Vrabel would be a little more irritable, but he looks almost exhausted. And he's got this weird scenario now where they don't have anything to play for this weekend, and they could just lose by 100 points and it won't matter. But it's the Week 18 game against the Jaguars. That means everything. I love Mike Vrabel. He's the reigning coach of the year. Can you imagine that? That beat-up piece of meat. He looked like Randy the Ram in The Wrestler. He's been through it all. And he looks exhausted. He's got to find a way to get a win. I don't know if it's coming. He's not going to get it here either because, listen, maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe I'm biased. But your winner, the Detroit Lions head coach, Dan Campbell, and still bite fight champion. I don't know if he's ever lost this thing or ever will. The only reason he won this one is the Jacobs bite was really good, and it had potty mouth in it, which I like. Mike Vrabel was very emotional, but the Dan Campbell one was everything. It made me laugh. It made me chuckle. It made me think. It made me want to work out. It made me want to do some lateral raises with 50-pound dumbbells like he does. Dan Campbell, not a winner against the Carolina Panthers. Maybe a winner of a playoff bid, but right now a winner of bite fight. Dan Campbell. See you next time. Nobody wants a piece of Dan. Even Vrabel couldn't take him out. That's saying a lot. That's bite fight, and that's the show today, guys. Normally I throw a dart, but as I said, end of the year, end of the calendar year, we've been going up for months. Everybody's dropping parts and dragging sparks. Technical difficulties here. Believe me, I wasn't going to hit a dart anyway. I'm still trying for that bullseye. But thank you for joining us. I really mean it. The Warriors proud that you're here. Michael Jordan back in the 80s is proud that you're here. And I'm proud that you're here in 2022 for a few more days. We'll be back tomorrow with our last show of the week. We'll preview the Thursday night game featuring Mike Vrabel's Titans versus, isn't it Titans Cowboys? Yeah, that's kind of tasty. Until then, thank you guys. I appreciate it. This is us from the basement. Please exit through the garage and close the door on your way out. See you tomorrow.